Bear Nation, welcome back to the Bears Buddy podcast. I appreciate you guys so much for tuning in. And today, Ben Johnson took the podium. We had Bears practice number 14, the seventh padded practice of training camp. And it started off with a splash. Ben Johnson took the podium. And I will say, you got to go back and rewatch this. You can watch this on my TikTok, but it was kind of hilarious. The energy that Ben Johnson brought to the podium. He was asked about Kyle Monangai right away. The update that we do have on Kyle Monangai now is week to week. Yesterday, we got reports that he was going to be okay or maybe out for a little bit longer than expected. That didn't turn out to be the case. It is going to be week to week with a knee injury. He hyperextended the knee on Sunday when he ran into Grady Jarrett, or Grady Jarrett ran into him, or Grady Jarrett tackled him. Look, we don't have video of the footage, but we do have anecdotes. And so I think that at this point it's gotten a little bit farther from the truth. I think that what happened is it's football. And, a lot of people right now are talking about, will Ben Johnson change up his practice style? This is football. You guys are not talking about football. You go out there and you get injured. What are you supposed to do? Not practice? You have to get up to NFL speed. You can't just come off the street. I don't think that people understand that. And look, I'm not going to turn this into a diatribe. That is how I feel about it. I know that when I was playing football in high school, not even close, I didn't want to give that effort. I didn't want to deal with broken fingers. I didn't want to deal with bruises and being bashed, right? So extrapolate that all the way to the NFL. These guys want to do that. Luke Kuechly came out recently because he just got inducted into the Hall of Fame. He was talking about how his last season, he knew it, he just wasn't into it. But that's because other guys are that into it. And it's an alpha league. So then Ben Johnson gets asked about it today. He said, we turn up the intensity, we turn it back down. Depending on each practice, this was a pretty physical practice. It wasn't the craziest. There were some DNPs out there, did not practice. Tyreek Stevenson, Tyson Bagent. Tyson Bagent apparently is dealing with a hamstring issue from the Browns preseason game. So his status for Saturday in Cincinnati is now in question, which means we might see a lot more Case Keenum. I could imagine that dude's going for at least 150 yards and 2 touchdowns again against that Cincinnati defense. It will be fun to watch the Cincinnati defense, and we're going to get to see a joint practice. So today's Tuesday. We practice today. Tomorrow, we got a day off. We're traveling. We get to Cincinnati Thursday. We got a joint practice. And Boye Mafe is on their defensive line. And Sexy Dexy, Dexter Lawrence, who they just got from the Giants, is on that defensive line. So that defensive line, they've got some pieces on that line. And that's how I wish people felt about our line, the way that I feel about the Bengals line. I think that they went out there and they did a great job. They did a really good job of fixing it up. We took our swings last offseason, so that's where I sit on that. We took our swings, and, we went out, we got Grady Jarrett, we got Dio Adengbo. We gave Jalen Johnson and Kyler Gordon those big raises. We gave Montez Sweat a pretty big raise, too. And Montez Sweat, though, is the only one out of all 5 of those that has produced. Montez Sweat is only getting paid $25 million a year. That's low for what he does. For his production, that's pretty low. Because year after year, he shows up, and he does that. Last year, Ben Johnson said he had one of the best seasons. So, take that for what it's worth. That's coming from the coach's mouth, right? That is coming from the guy in charge. So I think I'll trust Ben Johnson a little more than I will myself or another armchair athlete. But the Tyson Bagent injury is a little concerning for me because I thought that this was going to be Tyson Bagent season. The preseason is made for TB. TB 17, man. I thought he was going to be out there. I thought that he was going to be working. But look, the roster cutdowns are coming. Like at this point, it's less than 2 weeks away. So there's going to be a lot of people that get dropped. I think in total, you got the 53-man roster plus 17 on the practice squad. So that takes you to 70 players. 70 players, 20 get left out. 17 of those guys get dropped, but then they get picked up and put back on the practice squad. So, that's the situation there. As far as the left tackle, Kieran Amagaji left early. That's an injury that we're okay with. I think that nobody's happy that it's happening. I'm not happy that it's happening, but it's like Kieran Amagaji left practice with an apparent right leg injury. I saw him play, and he said that he's played tackle his whole entire career since high school. I mean, he played at Yale. It's not like he was the best left tackle out of the Ivy League. Maybe he was. That just goes to show how bad the Ivy League is. I mean, I think that he could be a guard. The problem is he can't set his feet and hit an anchor when he's out there on the island. When somebody's rushing in on him. I mean, he went up against Jared Verse. He didn't give up a sack. So I'm not mad at him. Maybe Jared Verse was only going 50%. Say what you will, but Jared Verse is a beast. He's built for it. He is built different. He will do a great job for the Browns filling that hole that Myles Garrett left. I'm not saying he's Myles Garrett, but I'm saying that guy is a stud. And Kieran Amagaji did hold it down while he was going against him. So, take that all for what it's worth. That is one guy's opinion about it. I think that Kieran Amagaji, probably a great person. I feel like he could be a good guard. And left tackle, though, I think that when you get to the NFL, it's just elite company, and that's what we need over there. We got our right tackle figured out, and it's not, everybody doesn't have a left and right tackle like that, that are top 10. I think the Denver Broncos do, and I think like one other team does. But Ben Johnson took the podium today, man, and that was hilarious. He had some energy behind him. His main message at the podium was it was a big week coming up. Teams headed to Cincinnati. The competition on the roster is heating up. He wishes that it was easier and that there was more clarity, but there's not. And I think that goes to show you that this wide receiver room is super deep. We're not cutting Caden Davis. You spent about $277,000 of guaranteed money on him. So I don't think that he's leaving. We'll see if Ray McLeod sticks around. I mean, there's some good guys. Scotty Miller. Jade Walker is on this team. Whatever you think, he's on this team. Press Taylor was talking about him the other day, and it's obvious that he said we are asking a lot more of him. Last year, it's not like he lacked confidence. Press Taylor said he's never lacked confidence as long as he's known him. But last year, there wasn't a lot asked of him. And this year, there is going to be a lot asked of him. So that's really cool to hear, because if there are questions about, is Jade the third string or the fourth string, either way, they're game planning him. And Press Taylor is that guy. Whether Ben Johnson uses his plays or not, Press Taylor creates plays. I mean, he's the one that made the Philly special. So, Ben Johnson is tapping him for plays. So don't get me wrong. Press Taylor is not as green behind the ears as Declan Doyle was. And that is no knock on Declan Doyle. That is just a credit to Press Taylor. I think that, practice, Ozzie Trapillo's back out there. Grady Jarrett's okay. A lot of these guys, J.P. Richardson and Caden Davis had huge days today. Khalif Raymond continued to impress. DeAndre Swift looked sharp and decisive. Darnell Wright was solid as usual. The 14th practice is in the books. And we're pretty much done here, man. We've got 2 joint practices and 2 games left. There's going to be a lot of information that comes across the wire in the next 2 weeks. We'll see what happens. I'm very excited. Thursday, we don't get good camera views. I'm not going to be there. I'm not going to Cincinnati. You got to be joking me. I'm not going to go there. But, I'll see clips. I'll take people's word for it. That's what we had to do with the Miami practice. That was pretty funny. But then they play each other on Saturday. So I'm very excited for those two games. I'm very excited to see what these guys do. And, last weekend was so exciting. As always, thank you guys for joining. I'm Bears Buddy, your host, Buddy. Feel free to always hit me up. I'm always here to chat. I do lives regularly on YouTube and TikTok. As always, guys, bear down.